right? Like, why did this company fail? For all intents and purposes, it should be successful. And all we hear is, oh, they ran out of money. So why? Where did the money go? What happened?
His parents referred to him as a modern day Tony Stark.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned assistants, which don't necessarily sound like the worst thing, but Brian's saying these are like 4 or 5 assistants that were being paid like 80 to 120,000 a year. What did he need so many assistants for? What were they doing?
Yeah, well,
I don't know, dude. They post out weekly newsletter. They get in fights with me a lot.
I don't know how to.
They had no actual input on the PC builds. They didn't seem to manage any team that actually had any input on allocation, or some of them did. Yes, they were.
Yes.
Let me just go ahead and ask that question.
Yeah.
So were these assistants like pretty cute women then?
Asian, if possible.
I can't believe that.
I think the kind of idea with the chat was just talk about, our past, what happened with that whole thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, do you guys want to, I guess, introduce yourselves so we all know what your connection is to everything and all that?
Yeah. All right, I'll start first. My name is Tung Vu. I am a former builder of Artesian Build, and I am now currently over where we are now at Phoenix PC. I am the media manager, I suppose.
You were the former, wait, say that one more time. What manager?
Oh, no, over there I was warranty. I was managing warranty.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But now over here at Phoenix, I'm in manage of the media stuff instead.
Okay, gotcha. Anybody else want to introduce themselves?
There you go. I'm Vietnamese. Pie man.
Okay. Yeah. So me, Cool Round. My name's Ryan, and at Artesian, I just kind of bounced around and did a lot of things really quickly. I'm the one who joined the team last. I did like all kinds of packing. I did building. I did like helping out with the stream, inventory. Like I just did a ton of stuff. And now at Phoenix, I've built our website, and I'm continuing to help build the website, and also like managing stream and everything, doing a lot of stuff.
Okay, cool.
I'm Wells. Was a former builder at Artesian, and then now build team manager, and then helping Patrick out with purchasing.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Patrick. I was a build team manager for Artesian. Currently, I am the director of operations here for Phoenix, and making purchases.
Gotcha. All right. Well, what do you guys want to chat about?
Well, yeah, I guess just sort of figured maybe take the chance to sort of explain the story maybe from a little bit more of an inside point of view. How it all kind of went down, because it being over the East Coast, it was a great day-to-day operation for the most part. The people we worked directly under, I don't know how in depth I should go with names, but the people we dealt with on the East Coast, everybody at the East Coast was great, super nice, and we were pretty organized, pretty on top of things, pumped out most of the volume.
Wait, real quick before we get into this, are there any like pending court cases, like civil litigation or anything like that related to this, or?
So we've got obviously the bankruptcy, but at least the 4 of us are not. We're all listed as creditors, but
okay, just make sure you don't like say anything that's gonna like fuck your shit.
No NDAs or anything. Yeah,
we're not gonna trash anyone.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Necessarily directly.
I came in so early on that I'm just like, we should pretty much spin our hand and shake.
Gotcha.
So there is like someone who is litigating, and we're being on the safe side, and they're not joining in on the call.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, feel free to ask us any questions you have as well, just because we went through a lot, and so to us it's just like, oh yeah, this is just like this crazy thing that happened to us, or at least that's how I feel about it now. I've just sort of like, it's just become a blur.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty insane. You guys the volume was pretty good, right? It seemed like, I think in that one video they were saying you guys were doing like 20 to 30 builds a day in that eastern area.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, but do you guys know how much you were shipping compared to like iBuyPower or CyberPower PC? Was it comparable to them, or are these guys shipping like way more or way less, or what do you think?
I'm not sure. I know CyberPower did like, what was it? Or maybe it was iBuyPower. Maybe 600K or something a year. It was nuts. I don't think we touched that high.
600,000 builds shipped a year?
Yeah, I think that was their stats.
Holy shit! Okay,
that's not us though.
Yeah. These markets are just, I guess, a lot bigger than I thought they were. But okay, still. But okay, so 20, 30 builds a day. Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah. What do you want to chat about? I don't really know what.
That. Well, yeah. one of your viewers just asking a question about the RMA thing you were talking about the other day. Are they not?
Oh yeah, that was a question. Yeah, if somebody sent in something to RMA to you guys, somebody told me that there was like a technical provision in the contract that made them like a type of creditor. So if the business went under, you're probably not going to get that back because other people are going to be paid off, first or whatever. Yeah. What is the arrangement for that stuff?
I do not know.
Likely would have needed to file ahead of time, I think by like July 2nd. It was sort of not a process that I'm sure we'll refer to them as the defendants would have made like explicitly public. Yeah, I think the deadline would have been like July 2nd to register as a creditor or something like that.
Yeah, so then it was the case then that you were considered a creditor if you did RMA something, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the bankruptcy court is in charge of all that stuff as far as we know, and that's I'm sure you've seen the video of the buyer, talk about what he's gonna do, what his plans are for what he just bought.
Do you want to? I've got another friend that like does. He does like a. No one really knows what he does. He works a lot with like big warehouses, computer related stuff. Is it okay? Can I drag him into this? He might have like pretty relevant questions too.
Sure.
Yeah. Do
any of you watch my stream or have any concept of?
Yeah, I've seen videos and stuff.
Oh, okay, it's the Dan guy. He had a warehouse with a bunch of like GPUs and he was doing like Bitcoin mining or something. So just.
Oh.
Am I able to add him to? Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Gotcha.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. What's up, Dan?
How we doing?
Hello.
I'm interested a lot about this fiasco as well, and I think the cool thing to get to the start of, and we can talk, I guess, towards the latter half, like what you guys are doing now. But I think, we've all watched the Gamers Nexus. Let me turn on here.
Wait, hold on. Your microphone is a little bit horrible. Can you?
Is it still horrible or not?
I don't know if it's using the wrong one, but it sounds a little bit muted.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Video.
We see you though.
You see me, but you can't hear me.
Oh, now it sounds way better.
That's better.
I don't know if it switched, but okay.
There we go.
All right. So, I think all of us kind of watched the Gamers Nexus thing, and we've also, heard a lot about this. But what would be interesting to hear is, what's your guys' take on what went wrong, if you will, right? Like, why did this company fail? For all intents and purposes, it should be successful, and all we hear is, oh, they ran out of money. So why? Where did the money go? What happened?
Well, I think potentially the sort of like obvious overbearing issue is just sort of, I'll use the word inexperience, from a man who thought he knew what he was doing, or that may even be giving him too much credit. There was a level of narcissism from the CEO, I think, that just sort of transcended his ability to reason, I guess.
We'll say, I'll rephrase this to be, maybe I can even reframe this to be a little bit more, maybe even more reasonable. So it sounds like you get a new CEO, maybe not super competent or able to manage like the blossoming company, maybe. And so a lot of problems, I'm guessing, are kind of stemming from the decisions made by the CEO, is what we're saying, right? And then maybe was a little bit unwilling to accept outside help or apparently counsel or something.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, and it kind of seemed like anytime someone came in and tried to appropriately warn him of an issue, he just sort of, he either blamed them or just got rid of them, or,
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, couldn't.
He doesn't like to be questioned, He just want to operate this company like a dictatorship.
Sure.
So did you guys work directly under him?
No.
Like in that office? Did any of you guys interact with him?
No, we
Never met the man.
spoke with him.
We're trying to get someone who has worked under him in here real quick.
That'd be good.
We spoke with him a couple times, like through company Slack, and at the end there, when things were, we had just moved into a new warehouse, and as things were starting to evolve, we were trying to like get him in chat and tell him like, hey, here's what we need to be successful, and he was kind of like, oh no, you don't need that. We'll figure out what you need later down the line or something like that. And it just, it felt very dismissive. At that point, he may have known things were, sort of butts up, but yeah.
Interesting.
So I guess here's a question. I'm kind of curious, because it's easy to talk about kind of like the general failures of management, but can you think of like one or two scenarios where you saw like this was kind of like a specific failing? So maybe you're thinking like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like hardcore throwing somebody to the bus, but maybe you were thinking like, this is an area where we obviously needed more resources allocated, or this was an area that was struggling that nobody wanted to address, and you all kind of felt like at the office, like, why isn't this happening? But it felt like management wasn't giving you the proper tools to succeed or something. Did you ever get that feeling, or?
Oh, a lot.
For sure.
Yeah. It was kind of like, how do I put this subjectively? So, as is stated, like in facts in like the Gamers Nexus video, we were doing a lot of numbers, and then kind of over on the West Coast, maybe kind of like the CEO specifically, it's my feeling that he kind of, did things to his liking, and maybe kind of that in effect kind of neglected kind of the needs of the people who were pumping out the numbers.
So it seems like from that Gamers Nexus video, the feeling that I got was you guys you were kind of separated into these two different worlds. So on the east part, you were like the manufacturing. You were the one that were doing. You guys were the ones that were doing the majority of the build. You were getting the majority of the parts. You were making most of the paper for the company. You guys were the ones making the money. And then on the West Coast, it seemed like it had a more kind of marketing focus, where the money that was being spent and the operations that were being done were on like how to make the company more, I guess, like famous, or to get sales through advertising or whatever that way. And do you think that's an okay generalization of like the differences between the East and West?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce.
Yeah,
I'd like to introduce myself.
Go ahead.
I'm Eric Ashmore. I worked as a customer service representative remotely.
Gotcha.
From neither of the locations. I didn't work at either the East Coast or West Coast, but I did work a little bit more directly with Noah on the customer service side of things, and then a little bit on the mining side of things. And to take that earlier question in, a little bit of the mismanagement definitely came from not ordering parts when they were needed, and or doing other things as far as promotion. There, like he said, a little bit with, I think, just inexperience may have led to some of that. So that may have been a major part of, like they said in the Gamers Nexus video, of just what overall time caused things to happen.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it sounds like, based on what I'm hearing, and then based on the complaints of the Gamer Nexus video, it feels like the West Coast guys that were there kind of for like marketing or advertising were kind of treating the entire company like a marketing or advertising company, when it sounds like you needed more specific support in the East for doing the actual jobs of like getting parts and like building computers. Or
I think we don't want to give the West Coast a bad rap. There were a lot of good people there. The builders who were not the CEO were all great guys, good at their job. There to do good. but you know, the CEO wanted to play influencer. He wanted to be, you know, it sort of boiled down to him essentially being like CVS brand Linus Tech Tips, or at least that's what he wanted. And
kind of like it was his sandbox to play around in.
Oh, okay. There was a lot of reports of like he would come into the office at like 4 p.m. or something, and a lot of people wouldn't even like have any interaction with him or anything. They just had no direction.
Gotcha. I'll describe a scenario what happened in the last few days, you know, of Artesian Build. Like, we were in the middle of moving warehouse. One, you know, smaller warehouse to a bigger warehouse. And we don't have internet. So by the time we finished moving, about to set up and go stream, everything went downhill. And that's when it was like, turn on stream, and it's like the whole internet is against us. We didn't, you know, it took me like a whole night. It was like catching up, like, what happened? But it just like, it spews out like a volcano, man. And overnight, the door to the warehouse just got locked up.
So the main thing to us is like we were pretty much our own entity, like operating pretty much like two different companies, honestly.
Yeah. Where it sounded like the West was like the advertising agency basically, and you guys were like doing the lion's share of like the actual building and shipping and everything. Yeah. Yeah,
we were producing, and with this company, we just like to kind of keep that with our own leadership, which is like seven of us owners, I guess, equal share. So instead of having one head.
Oh, so you're kind of doing like almost like a co-op kind of thing?
Yeah, we have a board and everything.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and so like everyone has a stake in the company, so we're employee led. It's not, you know, it's not one person in power anymore. It's all of us have some power, and we listen to everyone, get everyone's opinion and make sure that they're respected and heard.
And what's nice is we already have a lot of expertise in a lot of different areas where we've done this before, you know, so we have people that are really good at very different things, but all can mesh together to make this work really well.
Sure. So something that I'd be curious about, I'm a very blunt guy, so I'm not going to bullshit or whatever. I feel like it's a mistake, or I would feel really scared about like associating yourself at all with the prior Artesian Builds brand. It feels like you guys must have had a discussion about the trade-off, because on one end you inherit all of the follies of the company, right? Even if you don't want to, people are going to associate it with you. But I'm guessing you're trying to capitalize on the name recognition and the sales they had before to hopefully like bring in some of those old customers or some of the old awareness and then funnel that into new sales. Or what was your strategy for like dealing with that? Because I'm sure you're going to know there's a lot of people going to be like, oh, those are the Artesian Build guys, they're going to scam us, and then never even deal with you or never give you a chance. Well, yeah, I'm curious what those conversations are like to figure out if that was appropriate or not.
Yeah, we're
absolutely
fighting that a little bit.
Yeah, so and just to put it bluntly, like our past is we're from that company, but we are not that company. So no, but you're absolutely right. We in our streams we haven't been using that name. We've purposely been trying to be graceful and respectful about it. But we also want to be transparent, right? Like that is where we came from. That is our past. But going forward, we are a different entity. We're not Artesian rebranding. We're from Artesian, but we are not Artesian.
And we feel like it kind of would have been a mistake to try and just hide that and be, you know, scummy away from it. You know, when you turn on our stream, it's painfully obvious. It's the same 5 builders doing the same jokes. You know, it's the same. We're still us, and we're the quality side of Artesian. Where if you watch those videos, we had a very low escape rate. We had a really good work environment when we were, like you said, basically our own entity. So it just makes sense to move forward with basically what we were doing on our, you know, with our followers and with the people that we already know and love that, you know, come to our chat every day. You know, it just makes sense to not so much associate with as just not try to hide behind our past.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're sort of like in a middle ground, right? Where we're not claiming to be Artesian 2.0. We definitely don't want that. But we're being transparent and we're not denying our past.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and that even brings up another point so far as like, you know, East Coast really did a lot of the mainstream builds. We did a lot of the majority of the builds with really good quality. And on the West Coast, they did the very large, crazy builds that, you know, some of them didn't turn out as high quality. You know, they were a little more over the top, you know, crazy cases that don't make sense and things like that. You know, we're really leading a lot more towards we want to build quality PCs with quality parts and send them to you quickly. You know, that they're on stream. It's a cool interaction to see your PC built through our thing on Twitch. Once your selections with a guy that you know on Twitch, it's going to be fun. And you know, I think that's, you know, like I said, just not hiding from it, but definitely embracing that we are the more quality side of a, you know, online build.
Okay.
All of us is working on sweat equity right now, you know.
And just for the viewers and stuff, like some stats real quick. East Coast had shipped over $1 million in builds a month. And we had about 70K overhead. Whereas West Coast shipped about, I think it was 300K or so builds in a month with over 100,000 overhead.
Those are dollar amounts of like how much those builds were worth.
Gotcha.
So they were burning cash over there.
Dan, what do you got?
I don't know. I mean, look, I think it's a cool concept, right? I think that's the whole reason that it took off in the first place. Watching your computer get built is unique. But I think there's probably a lot of challenges you're going to run into there as far as things are getting a little bit cheaper. And there's a lot, I assume you guys are going to have a premium over someone like iBuyPower or CyberBauer PC or one of these other guys. And that's maybe a little bit too much to pay in this day and age. Like, I think back then there was a huge element of the stream factor that would kind of have people go and do those builds. Do you think that's still the case now, that you guys are going to be able to have those numbers, or what?
So maybe Wells can talk about this a little bit more, but our goal is to just have like a really good value proposition. So we're gonna have competitive prices. You're gonna pay a relatively low price for the performance that you're gonna get.
Yeah, and even on top of that, you know, we're not trying to necessarily be like, you know, boutique right out the bat. You know, we're, you know, especially early on, we're all working on sweat equity. We're not, you know, doing this necessarily to, you know, make a good paycheck, you know, right away. Like, obviously we are here to make money. We're just trying to do, you know, do what we love. But, you know, in the meantime, you know, trying to take a look at who our competitors are, and, you know, maybe not necessarily price match, but offer an option that is certainly competitive.
So how much business do you guys have so far? I think you guys don't have a lot of cool juicy stuff about what happened at Artesian, so I guess we might as well turn this into scuffed Shark Tank, and that'll be a little bit better. You guys absolutely suck with the cool drama for Artesian builds. You know nothing. You're like, well, you guys saw it in the video. So
oh man, it sucks.
Yeah.
The problem is, one, there's ongoing civil stuff, and two, it's probably not a good thing to just come and just shit all over like your passing car.
That's the whole fun part. You know what the fuck?
If you've got questions, you know, we can try and answer, but yeah, we're trying not to put anyone.
Shit, I got a lot of questions. I feel like I'm not going to get the answer.
Go for it, Dan.
Okay, how much of a douchebag was this guy? Give me some cool stories about fucked up shit he's done.
Oh god,
there's a douchebag. All right.
Okay, so give me a cool story. I remember one time on Slack that there was go ahead, start it like that and tell me something that happened.
Okay.
I don't know how many he wants to tell, but Eric has a ton.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Let Eric go first. Or
yeah, I mean, just not being available when needing to be available, but when he has a problem, absolutely hitting you at 2 a.m, you know, type personality. You know, it's blowing your phone up at 2 o'clock in the morning your local time after you've sent him messages for the last 3 days, asking for very important allocation on graphics cards, for example.
So how was this whole graphics card shit going on? This was in the middle of the crypto winter, not crypto. Anyways, we can call it summer. It doesn't matter. The whole point is graphics cards were hard to get. How was your relationship handled there? Those things, like, you guys must have been in a fucked up situation because you want to build PCs, but I assume that if I was Noah in this situation, I'd be like, every GPU I can manage to get from NVIDIA or AMD, I can go flip that for double, because you guys, I assume, are paying MSRP.
In a lot of cases, I don't think we were, but it was kind of messed up at the end there, as things were starting to hemorrhage. I think our purchasing manager at the time had a chance to buy, what was it, like 18 3080 Ti's just in one, maybe it was 18 grand worth of GPUs. I don't remember how much, but, you know, enough to clear out the, let's say it was the 3080 Ti-Q, and you know, Mr. CEO said, no, we can't do that right now. And all it took was 2 cancellations to outweigh the cost of what it would have been for the GPUs. I mean, and I don't know if it was because he like genuinely didn't understand, the economics of it, or if we were just out of money. If the company just could.
It feels like one big problem is, were you guys collecting payment for the builds up front?
Yeah.
It seems like a really scary thing is, and I say this as an amateur or small business owner, so maybe this doesn't apply at the bigger levels, but it sounds like it kind of does, is I feel like you can start counting your chickens before they hatch when you're collecting everything up front, and then it becomes very easy to neglect kind of the obligations you already have in the pursuit of some future stuff. So like fulfilling some obligation by buying a bunch of GPUs seems shitty when you can use that money to chase future money, even though you're kind of already owing that to customers, Yeah.
A lot of another big money hole that he put off a lot onto is hiring so many goddamn assistants. I don't know how this man has need for. I don't know.
Hiring too many people for too much
While
money.
hiring that many assistants, he'd be saying that it was because he had not enough time to get enough done. He'd like to say all the time that I can do your job better than you, and it didn't matter who he was talking to. I could do your job better than you. I'm smarter than you type of personality, while not getting anything actually done. Screaming about how he could do it better. Yeah, he's basically paying these people to now manage situations that they have no idea what's been happening for the last year, 2 years, 6 months, however long the project has been going on. So while screaming about how this job could be done better, not actually giving any direction, that type of management just really didn't work. And especially there in the last few months, it really exploded into him and his tantrums, and even at the very end, the very last month or so, I had probably an entire page or two of Slack messages to him, completely unresponded to, and then he's got this big page long thing for, oh my god, I can't believe we're doing this, blah blah blah, but you still haven't responded to my request for allocation for this and that and this and that. And then at the very, very end, when the famous stream happened, and he basically got the whole community turn against him, and now everybody that did have orders, we were having hundreds, if not thousands, of emails for cancellations. So as the customer service people, we're doing our job and canceling their money when they request it, and it's absolutely happening. And then at some point, and again very late at night, we got about $700,000 into cancellations, and he froze the account, told us to stop doing cancellations completely, wouldn't let anything move forward. Also wasn't
did those cancellations go out? Did that $700K get refunded?
Yes. It left the bank account, absolutely, and then that's before he locked us all out of it. And then, I'm sorry, I lost my thought.
You said 700,000 in cancellations went out that day.
So he locked the account out from under us and told us to stop doing cancellations, but he left the website up for about 3 weeks up after that, to where we didn't have access to stop people from ordering. So people were ordering after the people wanted all these refunds, and the website was basically shut down. No parts were being ordered for this last 3 weeks there.
How many orders came in?
Again, we were locked out, so I'm not entirely sure. I just know that the website was live and that you could place purchases, but I wasn't able to see the purchases anymore. I was locked out of that system. He was slowly locking us out over days and weeks, locking us out of bank accounts that we had access to, accounts that we had access to on the back end of the website. So we weren't seeing how many orders were coming in, but we absolutely knew that there were, because people were like, "Hey, what's up with my order? I just I placed an order, but you guys seem to have."
So you guys had no idea or understanding of how many orders came in after this period. How many? Do you know how many refunds got after the initial denial? How many more refunds came in after that?
Like requests for refunds?
Yeah, like how much in dollar amount?
Thousands, yeah.
So are you talking like over $1 million?
Hundreds, yeah, definitely hundreds. And yeah, I mean, when you're adding up $3,000 to $6,000 a PC, it gets up there pretty fast. Yeah.
Well, hundreds. So we're talking like over $1 million.
So like only like 200 people requesting a cancellation could push you at like $500,000 and like a dollar amount.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we had hundreds and hundreds of requests after we were told to stop cancellations. And we were, it's on hold. We'll help you as soon as we can, because that's what we knew. We thought that something was going to get cleared up. Noah would, maybe do anything to prevent the.
Let's talk about RMA situation we brought up earlier. How many?
Wait, hold on before we do that, because that's boring. This is more.
No, it's not. That's
Wait,
more
hold on.
exciting.
Well, here's something I'm
What?
curious. Were you guys not getting paid for like weeks or months leading up to these final cancellations, or were you guys at least still able to like cash paychecks?
So
No,
we
we were
were
all-
paid the entire time up
Yeah.
till the very last week. None of us received our last paycheck. So the last 2-week paycheck or whatever, nobody received. And
No
the week,
PTO.
the one before that, some people were mysteriously shorted. Like their hours didn't add up to what they were paid for the 2-week section before that. So the last month or so was very sketchy in pay, and then the last 2 weeks was completely not pay. So
and then all that PayPal stuff that went down.
yeah, and then the
Oh yeah,
PayPal
charging
fallback.
you guys back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then PayPal siding with him in every single of the circumstances. So those people have all lost money to Noah at this
Don't
point.
worry, we're going to get more into it. That's fine. We're going to make things great for you. So tell us about RMAs. How many customer machines do you estimate were in both facilities at the time shit kind of went sideways? Meaning people who had sent in their computer for a repair. The whole computer, not just like I'm sending in a graphics card that doesn't work, but here's my whole PC.
Okay, so here's my end. The last week of that, there was about 10 PCs in our possession in East Coast, and I have mailed every single RMA. And we are, as a team, East Coast team, we couldn't build at all. So
And we didn't. A lot of those weren't even fixed. They just got shipped back out.
So you guys actually
still
did
not
the
fixed.
honorable thing, the new PC company. From
After we were fired, Tung went back. He got permission from Noah's parents. He went back and was still shipping out PCs after.
Yeah,
we
the
were
day
fired.
after we were technically not employed anymore, they allowed him to go back
So
in
you
and
guys
ship
were
out
like
as many PCs as he
Robin
could
Hood.
physically.
coming in
Well,
there.
try to do as much as we could. No, this is the
We're
whole
just
team's
trying to help
effort.
these
This
people.
is
Yeah,
not
I
just
mean,
me. Yeah.
So
We are.
what did it look like on the West Coast then? So the East Coast are the good
I
guys.
don't fucking know.
Oh, so no.
Who knows?
Would
They didn't
RMAs
track
get sent
any
there
of that.
regardless? Would
Almost
RMAs ever get sent there?
Almost no RMAs went there. The only RMAs that ever went to West Coast were specifically ones that Noah built himself on West
streamer
Coast.
PCs.
God.
Yeah,
I remember
streamer PCs were the ones that,
XN
and
and
even then,
having to rewire
sometimes
those
they got
things.
sent back to the East Coast for the actual build.
So the
They're like,
the big revelation that we have here is that there should be, hopefully, very, very few, probably less than 5 RMAs out there for customers that might lose their data or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's your guys' take. There really was nothing. So that's good news that you guys kind of went the extra mile and did that. That's good. So another interesting question. We've talked about this a few times now, or you guys have brought it up, and I'm curious. As much as you know of the start of this company, it seems strange to me to have a CEO that has his parents involved. That's very interesting.
God.
Isn't that actually super common with a lot of like Dr. K, for instance, has his mom involved in his thing, right?
And there's scandal there as well. So maybe it is common in certain types of companies. But tell us how that was and how that's weird, in my opinion. If I worked for a company and like the CEO's
We
mom,
didn't-
like, hey,
we
do
didn't-
your job faster. Like, the fuck?
We didn't interact with them too often at least at the older warehouse. But as things were sort of starting to fire up and we moved to the new warehouse, it felt like they were there every other day. And it's like, I remember like unpacking a pallet or something like that and turning around and his mom was there and I like jumped. I was like, oh God. I mean, and,
Yeah.
Quiet.
it was
Same thing happened to
Oh,
me.
they were
super
quiet,
quiet.
but
Sneaky.
it was strange, and they kept, there's stuff everywhere. I'm sure you saw the Gamers Nexus video. I mean, we had barely gotten set up, and they were coming in and like, all right, put us to work. What can we do? And
Yeah, I mean,
we don't
they
really
essentially-
want these 60, 70-year-old folks carrying anything, or I mean,
They essentially
I mean,
were
it
the
was-
board. They were the only people
Yeah.
that actually could get Noah to stop doing anything insane. We would actually have to get the parents to say, "Hey, can you tell Noah to not do this crazy thing with money?"
So he was a little bit of a mama's boy, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
I mean,
like, so on the Slack channel,
You
I
called
told
him a
Noah
mama's
to
boy?
eat a dick. No, I told him to go eat a dick.
Whoa.
He laid us all off.
Whoa.
You know who was the first one to step up to defend him? His mom sent me a private message.
His
What'd she
mom-
say?
This is a very unfortunate event, and we all don't want this. His mom is the only one that spoke to me. He never
And you
responded to my
tell his
comments.
mom to eat a dick as well. That's the ultimate Giga Chad move.
You should have saw that load.
I can actually tell a story because this is like a personal experience. This happened. So yeah, like Wells said, it was actually just me and him at the warehouse. I think the other guys were like going to get lunch or something like that.
oh God,
And
many-
yeah, Wells was.
how many
working on
hats did he
something.
wear?
Who?
Noah. How many hats did he wear according to his parents?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I was doing something as well, and like Wells said, I was like doing my work, and then all of a sudden there's like Noah's dad right next to me, and the first thing out of his mouth is, "I just want you to know that all of this is 100% not true," and it's like, that really kind of set in the reality of the situation.
Like, what do you mean? There's clips of it online. Like,
They couldn't
Yeah.
possibly fathom why everybody hated him for re-rolling a giveaway.
They honestly
small
were
stream.
surprised that everybody was just so mad at him and they wouldn't
Like,
forgive
he
him.
didn't
That
even
was-
say what was untrue. He just said all of it. He just said, "I just want you to know, 100% not true."
And board level phone calls with Noah and the CMO, COO, people like that. It was just people talking and Noah just sitting on mute. He never, he wasn't experienced in that way.
His parents referred to him as a modern day Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It's like a modern day Iron Man.
He may not be the perfect Noah, or he may not be the perfect person, but he's the perfect Noah.
That was a direct quote from his mother. Yes.
So I've heard that this guy may have changed his name. What do you guys know about that?
That's what we heard too.
No.
We did hear that.
I don't think we should say anything, but I think it has become public.
It doesn't take much Googling to find that one.
yeah,
Okay.
I hear this.
So
stuff,
you're
my
telling
blood
me
pressure
to
goes up.
start Googling. I got it. I read through your message there.
There you
Okay,
go.
gotcha. I'll do it. So how much money did any money come into this company that wasn't from mommy and daddy that you know of? Like, was there any real investors, any like companies that have like VC or something like that, or something ventures at the end of it, or was it just mom and dad?
They were private investors, I know, and I think he just started with his parents' money though.
Yeah, I don't think we know 100% for sure.
Just
Apparently, there was like cash infusions from his parents. Like, a couple
Okay,
times.
so yeah,
and employees
there was
as well.
A couple of other high level employees as well.
Yeah,
So employees put money into this company.
Yeah. Well,
there's some this.
I feel like we talked about this yesterday with the WeFunder. Always not a hot idea to let employees invest in companies. So I'm guessing these guys aren't really that thrilled with their investment at this point. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's
Probably
very
not.
accurate.
Yeah, not good. Not accredited investors. Not a good look. But what are you going to do? So basically, it sounds like there was a turning point. Things were working, and then they weren't. Do you guys have any instinct on, like, I don't want to say like I guess most people would point to the moment of the stream, like saying, you can't get the PC now because you're not, whatever. But was that truly the moment where things started going sideways, in your opinion, or was there more?
Oh,
There
Okay,
was
so what was the causal moment?
I think it was more of a build up, sort of, and that ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back. I think there were monetary issues. I mean, it was I don't remember the numbers, but it was like the first year was positive, and then the next year, down a couple 100,000 or something like that. But it was like we said earlier, it was the West Coast that had been bleeding money, likely from a lot of employees that had unspecified job titles were still making 80 to 100K a year.
How much was Noah making?
So I think early on he, can't see me, but quotations, wasn't taking a salary, and then at the end, or maybe like halfway through, bumped himself to 75, and then at the end gave himself like a pay raise up to 150. In the last couple months, I think.
Real quick, are you reading what Brian's saying in chat, Dan?
There we go.
No, let me go.
Brian's been saying a lot of things in chat that might be interesting, but like something that Brian said a long time ago. You guys mentioned assistants, which don't necessarily sound like the worst thing, but Brian's saying these are like 4 or 5 assistants that were being paid like 80 to 120,000 a year. What did he need so many assistants for? What were they doing?
Yeah, what?
I don't know, dude.
They
post out weekly newsletter.
Is there?
They get in fights with me a lot.
I don't know how to.
They had no actual input on the PC builds. They didn't seem to manage any team that actually had any input on allocation, or some of them did. Yes, they were.
Yes.
Let me just go ahead and ask that question.
Yeah.
So were
yes.
these assistants like pretty cute women then?
Asian, if possible.
I can't believe that.
I'm surprised you didn't pay me more.
Three out of 4, I believe. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow, they were
Okay.
West Coast to be fair. Okay, maybe.
Well,
Oh,
there you
boy.
go.
Oh, boy.
I mean,
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, we never met these people, and they never really had any input on any, like I said, any allocation, any building, any actual teams members, any interaction with any, we were, some of us in the management level of the company and never really saw any interaction with these people, so we don't really know what they did.
interesting.
Yeah.
And again, they were on West Coast, and we were very much not there, so they, we're not in the know, but,
Yeah.
Are you guys
From a
allowed to
worker-
say what was your guys' compensation? Were you guys paid like commission, or were you paid?
Significantly less than that.
We were just base. I think most of us. I think
Salary.
5 of us were all salaried. We had maybe 1 or 2 hourly people there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember when I got hired, I was making I think $20 an hour, and then when I moved to full time, I was making 48.
Oh,
a
okay.
Yeah,
year.
I think the average builder pay was about 48 a year.
I
Whereas
think, but the thing
West
is,
Coast gets
East
hired
Coast.
on for 80.
Yeah, dude. Like East Coast got paid so much lesser than West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Same
just
with remote work.
individual
Remote work
wise.
That's
is
because
not
we're built differently, though.
Oh yeah, we know.
That's just how it is.
And and
We
it's,
heard
it's
that
just,
enough.
yeah, it's just so fucking sucks too, because some of our guys over here are struggling, man. And people got kids, who got house, who got family.
Yeah,
But
a
very
handful of us are
talented at what
still-
they're doing. Like
Yeah.
actually putting out, building 10 PCs in a day is no small feat, and doing it well with good cable management and no returns, and then actual
Yeah.
testing process afterwards.
Yeah.
That's a lot to do. That's
Oh,
a very
shit.
large,
I wanted
it's
to
a very skilled thing.
I will
Say something on
note,
the West Coast in that video. Did they mention that it was? Did I hear this number right? It was like 30% of builds were being returned from the West Coast build house.
Yep.
I forget what the escape rate or the
And-
return rate was. It was potentially.
It fluctuated, but it
thought it was
went
like
between
as
20
high
and
as
40.
10%.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta think about the volume wise. They send all like these, I don't know, partners builds, but all the partners builds are fucked up.
Oh,
Like, the one that
10%.
Noah
That's what you were
touched.
saying.
Yeah,
Sorry.
all the one
Yeah,
that Noah's
okay, yeah,
touched.
that's what I
and all
thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
But it
we
got
working
significantly
some of this
higher
stuff
than
and-
that several times. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say
Without
even
the-
10% sounds fucking insane. You ship 100
Yeah.
computers and 10 of them have
well, and
problems.
it would be claimed that, oh well, this is a custom, never done before PC type thing. But through testing processes that we were supposed to be implementing, that were his written word of what we were supposed to do, and even our own processes that we kind of were doing, it shouldn't have been leaving the warehouse in that state. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for it to show up and
I mean, without
just
being-
completely not work.
How many streamer
Without-
builds
or not
did you guys do? How many streamer?
Wait, hold on, wait, before we go to that.
PCs?
Wait, what kind of problems were coming back? I'm so curious.
Probably just
So-
shit wiring.
It would be it would be simple wiring problems that would and oh my gosh, the one that frustrated us the most was they would put 3-pin RGB into 5-pin. It was just simple stuff, and then claim that oh well, there's no adapter for that. Yes, there is. Like there absolutely. What are you talking about? And very simple things like hard drives not being plugged in, or
jeez.
they would install the hard drive. They would so you'd get your NVMe and then several hard drives on top of that. They'd install the NVMe, install Windows, and then just never even open up the other hard drives. They're in the computer, but then when the customer would be like, "Did I even get my hard drives?" and we as customer service would have to be like, "Well, open your PC and
they
look."
need to go into disk management. They need to initialize the disk
No,
and everything.
so they weren't. Yeah, they never did that. So the customer would be like, "Did I get my disk?" And the builder we'd see them installing it on the stream. You could even go back to the VOD and watch it, and then we'd be like, "Well, it's in there, but and it might not even be connected sometimes." It was simple stuff that should have been caught in quality control.
Yeah,
And
he just was not the most of the builders there were fine. He was not. He was just not a good builder. I mean, just unorganized. And,
He was the best.
What do you guys know?
clearly, yeah.
What are some policies that you guys have in place to like ensure builds go out like as quality builds? Like run me down like what you would do for a build. You finish a build. Well, how do you make sure it's okay?
We got an initialization process that we follow. It's like it gets looked by 3 to 4 people before it flies out the door on East Coast. People
I mean,
double check
I would
your
argue that
shipping.
it starts even earlier than that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
because-
What does that process look like? Like, what do you guys actually
So
do?
on the East Coast, what would happen is one person would pick out the parts and set them out to be built the next day, and then the next day a build manager would come through and check the parts and make sure that every part is the correct part that should go into that PC. And then it goes to the build table, and it gets built, and then even after the computer has been built, double check, make sure that everything that's in front of you is the correct part, and make sure that you've put everything in, you didn't forget a drive or anything. And then, like Tung was saying, it goes over to initialization, gets Windows put on it, gets like software to control the motherboard, lighting, all that stuff put onto it. And that's another step where you have to make sure all the drives are showing up, and you have to make sure to like install Windows on the correct drive. And then
Great
any
question,
other...
Steven. Any other? Do we want to know the BIOS settings that happen there?
Yeah,
as well?
sorry. So I used to build computers for people, and I think I shipped
okay.
around 150. So I was just curious what your guys' process was,
that's
because
cool.
I was just curious.
150. I think I've done like
I'm sorry. Let's move on to the better things. So on line 42 on the bankruptcy filings, I saw that there was a $22,000 liability for a 3080 Ti that had a liability. Do you guys want to talk about like the bank accounts that you use?
Like that.
Were you guys like Wells Fargo fans, or were you guys using Chase Bank, or like why don't you talk about? Sorry, what other question you got, Dan?
Okay, yeah, I have a good question.
Yeah.
What do you know about this Noah guy? From what is the lore behind him from before the company? I don't think any of that's been talked to. I want to know what makes him tick. So tell me, what do you guys know from?
Dan's asking, was this guy like in the fucking mafia? Is he ex-Spetsnaz, CIA? Like, where's the background? Yeah, that's what we want to know right now.
Not
Yeah.
in particular. I'll settle for like his last like occupation, but that's fine too if you know that.
Bury any bodies in his backyard? That's what Dan's looking for.
Yeah, take your time though with the answer. It's fine. Go ahead.
Oh no, I never met the guy.
That was really one of the problems.
Yeah,
I tried to like organize to finally meet us and talk to us for the first time after that horrible stream.
He was an intern for a 3D printing job at NASA for a little while, and he liked to say that he worked at NASA a lot.
Kind of like Dr. K likes to say that he went to Harvard. The same thing. You see?
Yeah,
like
he didn't.
Family
He
relationship
did like an internship
intertwined.
there for like 3 months or something. Like it was not.
Holy shit!
But
So
his
a guy
profile
working in
picture
tech
up until the day we shut down was him in front of the NASA building. Like,
Oh god.
Nice. That's crazy, Dan. So a guy who's doing startups in tech overrepresenting his background. That's insane. Have you ever heard of that happening before, Dan, or is that like a first time for you?
Well, wait, there's like that
From what
movie,
I
Theranos,
understand-
Bad Blood. Have you seen that before? That happened to. You know what? You might be onto something. I can't believe
he
it.
started out as a 3D
Wait a
printer. He
second.
was trying to 3D print things and design 3D print, fabricate things. I guess. And that was what he started as, and he was, I guess selling them on Etsy.
Interesting. Okay,
before
I've
us.
got an interest question. Unless Dan, you want to ask any other boring shit or?
No. Go ahead.
gotcha.
So what jumper they put
Yeah.
on the hard
So
Internal
you
struggle
mentioned-
going on right here for you guys.
No, it's fine. Okay, I'm just curious how you feel about Molex connectors, because I feel no, I'm fucking with you. You mentioned a mining part. Was there like a goal to like build out like Bitcoin mining in the business? Did you guys hide miners on PCs? I have one of your I've got one of your influencer PCs. So do I need to check for Ethereum miner?
There was a separate website on Etsy where you could buy mining equipment from us, whole mining systems, or just the frames, or a few with a couple graphics cards, up to like 8 or 10. They would build them, test them, and send them out to you. I mean, we shipped out hundreds, probably thousands and thousands of them. I mean,
Interesting.
some people would buy them 80 graphics cards at a time and things like that.
From you?
Who built them? Who built them?
From us. West Coast built them. It was
okay.
mostly Brock in the early days. They didn't put them on stream. They didn't advertise about them because of the obvious hate for.
But you guys had
hate.
a GPU shortage, but you're also selling GPUs to miners at the same time.
Yes.
Thousands of them.
Yes, and again, we were for the longest time, and again, these guys really didn't deal with it. It was mostly just a few of us and Noah that dealt with the entire Etsy. Again, it was never really a problem with allocation. He would allocate them, about 50-50. Some of these would go to mining, some of these would go to East Coast, some of these would go to West Coast,
But it sounded like the number one issue, according to Gamers Nexus, was that these guys ran out of GPUs and they could not fulfill orders. So
well, and at the end there, because at the end of I guess the end of Artesian there, we weren't really selling miners anymore because there just wasn't a need. Nobody was buying them on Etsy. Nobody was buying these big expensive. They were not even close to MSRP. I mean, he was making. I mean, they were ridiculous. I don't think the Etsy's still out there, but I tell you what, the screenshot.
Was this part of Artesian, or was this something him personally making money doing that?
No, it was part of Artesian. It was. I mean, I was an Artesian employee, absolutely doing customer service on Artesian mining rigs.
Can you even? I'm sorry. This is now I'm being ignorant of mining. I thought that with ASICs and everything, I didn't even know you could make money mining anymore. Are they mining like altcoins?
GPU mining? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were Ethereum mining, and this is early.
Are there ASICs for Ethereum mining? You can still make money doing that on your computer, or
no. These were GPU mines. These weren't ASIC mines.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even know that was profitable, but okay.
Well, it was, still is.
Oh, it was for a long time, and actually, it still can be depending on your setup. I mean,
it's a long story, but the end is near, Stephen. Like a few months, and they're finally going to proof of stake. But it's interesting. So when did this mining stuff? How soon before the collapse of Artesian did the mining stuff stop being? When did they stop shipping mining rigs?
We never really stopped. We were shipping dozens for the first year or so I worked there, and then the last 6 months the place was open or so, we only shipped maybe a dozen because there just wasn't a demand for it.
Okay, understood. So basically, it wouldn't have really affected the GPU availability.
No, at the end there, when the GPU, like Gamers Nexus is talking about in that video, the end there to the GPU, he kept saying there was no money to buy GPUs, no money. It wasn't that we didn't have allocation. Like they were saying, we had partners that were willing to send us cards. It was that he wasn't spending money on the cards. We absolutely had, allocation for the cards that we needed. So example, at the very, very end, I believe there was like 3080 Ti's in there. And we had a purchase to buy like 20 of them at once from one of our distributors. And he said, no, do not do that. I'll get them cheaper on StockX. It's okay. I'll buy them one at a time on StockX and it'll be cheaper. Which was a lie. We actually went it sometimes over, sometimes under. It really depended on who we were buying them from. There were very fluctuations. I think Pat could probably tell you a lot more, but.
Okay.
Like going back to like a question way earlier was like, it was like something like, when did you start to see things were going wrong? For me personally, like I said, I joined in the team the latest. I started kind of like November 2021, and for a while like things were like good. I was having fun. Nothing was worrying me. But as time went on, it was like we're not having any parts, almost, I'd say about like 20% of our builds or something like that. Like they just had one missing part or something, and we just couldn't build it. And it became obvious that just like for almost every build, it was just like we can't build this because we don't have all the parts coming in.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to purchase more than 1 week out at the end. Like our manager was running around at Best Buy trying to get parts. It was pretty bad.
What was the most common part you were missing?
CPUs, a couple motherboards.
Cases. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was pretty much everything, honestly. It would be like case, motherboard, CPU, PSU.
And a lot of that would be due to him switching what was available on this certain build. It would go from this case to that case, and so our allocation for the old case wasn't as good. So our distributors wouldn't have the new case that he decided we were going to. So we'd have to find a new distributor for that case type thing. So some of it was that he was trying to switch things up, and some of it was, this case isn't working. It's that bad reviews, or we're seeing thermal problems with it, so we're going to switch to another case. But some of it also was most of it was just him not buying parts. And while we're making all this money, all these sales are coming through every single day. We got sales coming, dozens of sales coming through. What do you mean we don't have money? I can see the money.
Yeah,
I can see it right there. Like,
what was most of the money being misallocated to? Where is this? Like, what is he spending on?
We don't know.
You don't.
Goddamn
BMW hybrid or whatever that he had.
I don't know, man.
Wait, so this is just so strange. Like, so the money just like kind of vanishes. Like the money's coming in and you're not making orders. So why? Is it just because there's too many employees there? That seems like an easy fix. Like, hey, let's just stop paying people.
The employees were there ready to buy people were there ready to buy the parts. Yeah. They were the purchasing manager. They have the bank account. They're like, I want to purchase this part, ready to buy it. And he's like, no, don't make that purchase. Because a lot of those ones had to be run through him, in those meetings, he'd be like, all right, here's the allocation. I'm going to spend this money, blah, blah, blah. And so he would just say no. And then a lot of it, like Brian is saying, is payroll.
So who is the axis of evil here besides Noah? If you had to put, is it just him acting alone, or is there other co-conspirators that are out here counting to the demise of Artesian Builds?
I say it's his family. Like
him and his parents.
Pretty
reinforcing,
much.
just reinforcing.
Because everybody else was mostly just
they're saying no.
Of his incompetence.
Well, Noah was the CEO, but his parents were the board. So,
what would you guys say? Who is the bigger payroll? Was it the West Coast or the East Coast?
East Coast.
East Coast.
Noah paid himself upward to 200K at the end of Artesian downfall.
I also saw in there he like gave himself a lot of money at the end or something, like a repayment of a loan.
Yeah,
I thought I saw that.
He gave his parents a lot of money back too.
Yeah, he cashed out a bunch of the Artesian bank account. It was like $20,000.
So of all the money there, he just took it out into his bank account. He's like, all right, we're shutting down, no more refunds.
Yeah, we're paying. He was paying back his parents' loan, and then he shut down everything, took access away.
Wow.
So yeah, his parents and him are creditors in the bankruptcy.
Yeah, he said that it was
so the money that is raised from the bankruptcy. And do you know how
he's
much
going to pay his parents as well?
Yeah, so they're probably like the A class or whatever the fuck creditors, right? For that are the first ones we.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Wait, who are the creditors right now for Artesian besides his parents?
Well, you've got mom and dad.
Mom and dad, him.
All the employees.
So all the money. This is the part that's fucked up. So basically, of all the money that's coming in right now, selling, is that done? Do you guys know how much that made?
I don't know.
Anyone know?
No.
We're not sure.
We don't know.
Okay. Anyway, so of all that money that came in, selling all the shit that you guys had left over, it's all going back to Noah and his parents at the end.
That's
presumably the creditors, the people that he owed money to for the GPU parts, his parents, and then I believe the rest of the loans, like the other investors, then employees, then it'll be customers.
Yeah. I mean, that's fucked up because we got people here struggling to pay rent.
And you guys,
they owe us thousands and thousands.
So you guys aren't going to get any of that.
We're not going to see any of that.
Probably not.
In our pay, our paid time off and stuff that we were owed, all that.
401k. Yeah.
Our 401k. And he did some shady stuff at the end.
He didn't reimburse it. No, he didn't reimburse it.
In January, he just stopped reimbursing our 401ks for some reason. It completely and he paid into them up until then, and he switched companies. We were doing, I think one payroll company, and we switched to another payroll company January 1st, and that new payroll company stopped paying into our 401ks. And we were telling it, this isn't happening. He blamed it on the company. He said he was going through their customer service, blah, blah, blah. And it never got resolved by the end of it. So we worked, 3 or 4 months there at the end with no contribution to our 401k other than what we were putting in, again, as agreed. And it wasn't just that. He wasn't paying into certain taxes for some of us and things like that.
Yeah, it's so weird.
He wasn't paying like unemployment for certain employees. It was like his what are they, the people that take care of money, his accountants weren't doing things right on the system or something, and it is what he would say, blaming it on.
Are you applying this to so Occam's razor here, is this because he's a bad CEO or because he's an evil CEO in your opinion?
I mean, I think it's mostly ignorance and self.
You don't think he's trying to pay himself back? You think he's just shitty at his job?
Well, he's
at the end he was definitely taking money.
Yeah.
I think
at the end he was definitely taking money.
What is evil now?
He believes that he is in the right here. I think he believes that he is just trying to get himself out of a bad situation. And
I've never seen
his parents
narcissism in my life.
Also, back on the money, apparently the parents claimed 1.2 million of the total loan they paid as the sole secured creditors, and then non-secured creditors currently are deemed to receive a split of 50,000.
There's 4,100 plus creditors. They're supposed to split 50K.
So, how much did this auction raise? No one knows. No one has any idea.
I don't think we actually know. Yeah,
because that's done, right? The bidding was there, and it's done, and it's over with. What was all that? What was that stuff worth? I guess market, if it was to be sold today, brand new. Do you guys have any idea?
I think the accounting sheet said something about it could have been as much as $2 million worth of inventory.
I'd say it was between 1 and 2, all the inventory. And
auction
everything.
Brought in 150 to 300K.
Wow, I should have fucking bid on that. That's a fucking steal of a deal. Jesus. I could give out fucking GPUs to everyone in DGG, no problem, bro.
It's funny, you actually mentioned that as a strategy, Dan. Do you remember in the coronavirus pandemic? You said that if you wanted to get really fucking nice dining room furniture, you need to find restaurants going out of business and then find the bankruptcy auctions and then buy their shit.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I did.
No, yeah, I know. I'm not joking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's it's fucking crazy. Like a 300K for $2 million worth of shit is unreal.
You know what I bet? I'm speaking totally out of my ass here, but my guess is for a lot of those computer builds, rather than go through and like individually tally up the parts and do I bet they just were like, oh, this is probably worth like $200 to $500, and they sold a bunch of them bulk. I bet that's what happened.
Probably. Yeah, not knowing that there's a $2,000 graphics card in there. Well, not anymore, but
it's like when you take a car to like a junkyard or whatever, they're not like totaling every single part up. They just like will pay you like $400 for the car.
So that's another good point. A lot of that value, if it's between $1 and $2 million, is probably a little overinflated from the purchase price. Of when it was purchased. Let's say end of last year when the crisis was still going on. Definitely not. Not that it makes it any better, but.
Yeah, I don't know who's the appraiser to appraise all the leftover stock is, but I don't know. Depends how updated they are to like the current
when's the last
pricing
time
of things.
any of you guys talked to Noah or his parents?
When everything went down,
I believe the last thing we heard from them was when Tung told him to eat a dick. And
I never talked to Noah ever.
I told a lie to me.
He stopped responding to me after he told me to stop doing cancellations, to like stop refunding people's money. That's the
I
last
believe
thing
we asked him to let us know when he gets to Mexico.
Tung, yeah.
Do you guys believe that there's a redemption arc for this guy moving forward?
Hell no.
No.
I think people saw who he really was.
I think he needs
professional help. Like he
needs whatever legal consequences are coming towards him, and then to disappear into anonymity, because his whole thing was wanting to be internet famous. So I believe the only true consequence.
So you basically think he's like ontologically evil, essentially, yes?
I mean, and again, without seeking some sort of actual professional help and being like medicated and realizing what he's done, like no, he's no redemption arc for this man.
Understood.
He's just
evil,
like I said. I've never seen someone as narcissistic as him. I've never seen it in my life. I fully understood the definition of narcissism through this experience.
Outside help was not an option with him.
Were you a huge fan of his jacket, though?
No, God, no.
I love leather jackets, but he ruins it for me. I still like leather jackets, but I avoid red leather jackets now.
It was funny because whenever I was getting hired, I didn't know about the company beforehand, so I was doing some research, and then I was watching the YouTube videos, and I was like, man, this guy is kind of annoying. And then come to find out it was the CEO.
Nice. Yikes.
Nice.
Wait, how'd you guys even like find these jobs? How'd you get like approached for it? Or
so I found the link on Indeed. Actually, a friend who was living in the Raleigh-Durham area sent it to me. I was like, building computers, hell yeah, I'll do that, and applied. And then after a long interview process, finally moved down here.
Okay.
I found him on a Twitch stream and said I want to work for you, and then he met me in Discord.
My wife's is friend with the COO at the time's wife, and they were looking for help at the warehouse, and that's how I got brought on early on. I was like it's probably just third or fourth employee they brought on.
Gotcha.
On the East Coast.
All right, I guess we've got enough into the gossip, so let's do a little shilling for you guys to make it worthwhile. So tell us about your company and why you're going to be the new Alienware. Because the Alienware started doing just what you guys did. Did you know that? They used to build a little bit of custom PCs. They're pretty nice, and then the company got acquired and became kind of what it was. But it started off the same way. So how are you guys going to go and grow and make a difference in a sea of other custom PC builders? What's going to make the difference there besides streaming it? Because anyone can do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, really, you can, from the numbers, you can see we were doing it right before, like, the East Coast warehouse. So I think, there's more to it, obviously, but the main thing is we want to do that again, but with good leadership.
Well, and we don't want to try and like stunt too hard and say like, oh, we're not here to try and reinvent the wheel. We for the most part know what we're doing. We're good at it, and seems like a good way to make money and maintain a decent living.
So is this an employee-owned operation? Would you
Yes.
So would you guys call yourself like a cooperative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
we
I have
call
some more-
everyone co-owners.
Okay. Well, hey, that's good. Let's get into some questions here. So as you guys grow, how are you gonna like work with the challenges of management having a different view of the kind of lower employee at that point? How are you guys going to handle that disagreement that's going to come in the future, where, for instance, you know, the manager wants to get paid more money, or you guys want to bring on someone more? Like, how do you envision that happening?
You mean like among each other?
Well, yeah, you guys are a co-op. You should,
Yeah, we have a voting system, and you know, everybody's kind of like respect each other and just like kind of expect, you know, we keep each other on pace too. Like if someone's slacking, you know, we're like, hey man, we'll keep checking up things on the week. It's like Phoenix PC is like our child.
Can you guys like fire each other?
Enough votes?
I think that's a board meeting.
If there's enough votes, yeah.
Board meeting vote,
Do new people who get brought on also get the same amount of equity?
The same amount? No.
Or, okay, so the new people are kind of like enemies compared to like the old guard a little bit then, right? Like a little bit. There's like a little bit of conflict of interest as you guys grow.
It's just apartment building. Yeah, no, I don't see that as a conflict.
The goal
of
is
interest.
definitely just to have everyone have a stake in it, right? So if like someone new comes on, we want them to just join the team basically, right? And also be a co-owner. And definitely it's going to be a little while until we get there, because you know we already have a solid team behind us right now. You know, a lot of people have been reaching out wanting to work with us, but really, you know, we have to take care of ourselves first and get this team going full throttle.
No, listen,
we want to be like an ethical employer too, you know, like have enough, like
So how do the let's I guess switch to a little bit of the Shark Tank side of things here about the fundamentals of the business here. So what numbers do you guys need to scale to as far as like orders per month for this to kind of become sustainable, or are you guys already able to pay yourself salaries off of what you're doing right now?
Definitely not. It's sweat equity right now. We're pretty much working off our own part times and all that stuff.
We all, like, some of us have like full-time jobs, and you know, we do what we can on the side. Like but you know, some like there's other guys that are doing it full-time, and we just want to make sure that we can help each other out as much as possible.
We do have some like spreadsheets like with paying expenses for like certain people. We've agreed certain people get paid first. Everybody's okay with it. We do meetings all the time.
And to be clear, like there's what we mean by that is there's a few of us that like the few of us that are full time. We're just kind of like burning through our savings.
Well, we don't want that. That's not sustainable. So do you guys have growth right now? I know you're very new, but how many orders are you doing right now a month?
Well, we've only been open for about a month, but yeah, I mean, we
haven't got a full number yet.
For example, we got 3 orders yesterday. You know, I think that's something we can comfortably share. You know, and as long as it stays on that level of scaling, we should be able to actually make something of this very quickly.
How much profit can you genuinely get out of each sale? Assuming also, you know, that maybe 3% RMA and everything else that's kind of standard there. So how much before paying any employees, how much profit can you expect to get per order from a custom build?
I mean, it varies between the builds, and it's honestly not too much, you know, so.
Yeah, because like the Harpy, we really wanted it to be under $1,000.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like cutting it really close on the Harpy because we really wanted to make a good machine for under $1,000.
Oh wait, link me the build. Let's see it. Or what website would I go to find it?
So our website is.
I've actually got it up on the thing here.
PhoenixPCs.com, and Phoenix is spelled PHYNIX. And the Harpy is our low end build. And
so what is the goal for this company? The goal for the company is to sell PCs basically at cost, essentially, and try to get as much as you can for under $1,000. Yeah.
So we're starting out really simple right now. We're doing you know, we're pre-selecting the parts and having like pre-configured builds. But that's just kind of we want to have a solid foundation, right? We want to do what we know that we can do well.
Sounds about.
It's
try and go
pH.
crazy.
So are you guys basically just breaking even on each machine then?
No.
So you are making some money off of it?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's how business
again, we're
works,
just
right?
trying to keep our
Well, I was
prices
asking.
really
It sounded like
competitive.
you guys were
Yeah.
okay.
No. We're not doing at price, but we are still doing. We're trying to make our pricing as competitive as we can while still growing the business, right?
What business is doing at cost though? Honestly.
Well, no, I mean startups frequently lose money or break even so that they can
Right.
get market share, right? So that wouldn't be completely unreasonable. Just wanted to get an eye as.
Yeah, I
once you
mean,
guys-
mainly we just have labor costs built in now. I mean, and it's very minimal.
Okay.
We're very competitive with everybody else.
How do you guys decide on your on like which parts you're going for everything? Do you guys like have like a big
Personal
meeting or that, or
experience.
do you just go personal?
Yeah, I mean-
experience? Gotcha.
Yeah, we've all built and been in the building space for quite some time, so we really just kind of understand and keep up to date with what is going to be required to actually have a good gaming experience, a smooth, solid gaming experience with good cooling, things like that. And that's why we've chosen the parts we've chosen. Some of it comes down to distributor options as well, but even in that pool, we select what we think is built best.
Can I? I just
the
want to.
coolers that we've had the best. Sorry.
I just want to bug you. I'm just curious because I used to do. It's been a lot. I've been out of this market for a long time.
Sure.
I'm curious. So I'm looking at the heartbeat because I'm thinking like, how could you save on parts for this? Why use an aftermarket cooler at all? Just curious. Why not just use a stock Intel one?
Well, in this 12100K or 12100F is a little bit hot for just a stock cooler, and especially if you're going to be doing anything like really nice gaming or really high-end gaming on it, 1080p.
Do you overclock in it at all, or?
No, not this one.
Gotcha. Okay. Why? Just curious. Do you tend towards like the gold or platinum rated power supplies, or?
Gold, only gold.
Gold rated.
Gold and up.
Yeah, it's
Especially
actually
with the
specified there
restrictions.
on our site as well.
That also seems like if you've ever seen the breakdown on like how long you need to run a PSU, because the gold efficiency and the platinum efficiency compared to like the normal ones doesn't seem like it's that much higher, but the power supplies can get significantly more pricey. I was just curious.
So
And a lot of it still comes down to, like I said, experience with cooling and performance like that. We're looking for a solid performance computer that's going to last through what it's supposed to do. A nice 1080p.
There's the new regulations
Gaming
also,
experience.
like for different states. So.
Oh,
does every-
California might require a gold. No, actually, I think they do.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. That's true. Okay, gotcha. Just curious.
So do people are they able to watch you build these, or are you not?
Yeah, every single order.
Every single order. So so if I order something now, when do I get alerted that you're building it? And do I get like a Twitch link, and is that automatic, or do I just have to fucking stay glued to your channel all the time?
No,
We
absolutely
send
not.
emails and communicate with the customer to make sure that they're going to be available and everything like that.
Yeah, as soon as we've gotten all the parts in hand, then we email the customer, hey, here's your build date. Here's kind of when you can expect to see it. Here's the Twitch link. Yeah, we do that.
Customer communication really is important.
Past couple weeks, we're actually showcasing like all of our builds on stream, playing like certain games and stuff, and just interacting. It's pretty cool.
Interesting. So who's going to be the next star? Who's the next Noah that's going to put on the jacket, so to speak?
Ooh,
No one.
Ideally,
Hopefully
nobody.
no one.
Nobody.
You got to have a Noah at the top of the food. It's just how it works.
No,
we didn't make
we
the
don't
rules.
want that.
You don't actually have to have that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you wait and see, kids. To be young
Yeah.
and naive. You know what? I know how I got my money on. Just gonna leave it there, but I'll check back and see who.
Probably a good example of
Yeah.
learn by experience. But
Yeah.
Dan's a bit of a know of
Or-
himself, so he just.
something we're willing to
Tell
try.
us who's going to be the villain, Dan.
I couldn't do that.
Spoil
'cause
the
then
story. Spoil the story right now.
I'm gonna influence it a little bit too much if I do that. It's
Oh,
better
here.
to just let it unfold as it should naturally.
we're aiming for democracy.
Democracy is great until you start bringing in new employees and they outvote you, and then they want to like mix things up. So you don't want to have that happening, right? So then you start like technically when you go work at Facebook, like you're in a co-op, you have a piece of equity in Facebook, but not really, not really. So you got to make sure you keep it like that. Keep the new people down where they belong, and you guys up on top. Like that's the top-down thing was going to work for you. You guys in the beginning, new guys not so much. So they can get a little bit of equity, but they know their place. All right.
Well, I mean, kind of like one of the issues with the old place was that they were trying to they were getting ahead of themselves, and really our goal for us is to just not rush it, grow naturally, lay a good foundation, and then build on that foundation, in a natural way.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. We don't want to grow too fast at the same time, but we just like I was saying, organically.
No, I understand. You guys have seen Harry Potter, right?
I have.
Yeah, so
Some.
Yeah, you guys need to be like the Council of Magic there, in Hogwarts. So yeah, that's like you guys.
What do you mean by that, Dan?
Oh, nothing.
They were the bad guys for the last half of the Harry Potter world.
I'm not gonna agree to it because I don't know Harry Potter. I might ask my wife.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was exciting and fun. And is
there anything else you guys want to share? Or?
Yeah.
Come check us out, I guess.
Check out our socials.
This was a fun conversation, guys. It's like you guys are hilarious.
We
appreciate you guys taking us on.
I've got a few friends that want to join. If you guys are hiring assistants, but they're all Asian women, is that still okay? Or I'm sorry, I'm just fucking. Wait,
there's only one Asian on a company.
Gotcha. Okay.
Alrighty.
I'm going to we'll plug your guys' link in chat. I mean, best of luck to you. It's a rough everything coming off the other company, so I mean, we wish you guys the best. If anything else ever comes up, you guys want to chat in the future, feel free to shoot me a message or another email, and then we can come on and have a chat or whatever about it. Yeah. Where are you guys
Make sure to check out our twitch.com/PhoenixPCs, and we've actually got sales going on right now.
Gotcha, cool. Are you guys all based on the East Coast still? Did you guys move to a closer area? Or? Okay.
No.
So it's a mix between the East Coast and remote.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. Well, hey, good luck, guys.
Thank you so much
for taking the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
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 Oh, hello, Dan. Hi.
That was fun. That took me back to the startup days. What about you?
I think you were expecting something a little different.
I was.
I think they just wanted a chance to come on and kind of clear.
Yeah, I know they wanted to come on.
Yeah, but you're like, tell me, if you could torture the last CEO, how would you want them murdered?
Exactly, and that makes for good. No one wants to see some fucking team. Now we're invested. Our audience is like, these seem like cool guys. They're talking about how much they hate these dude. I might buy my next PC from them. As before, it's like we're fucking scuffed ass QVC hosts coming in here.
I just wanted to give him a chance to talk.
No, that's not exciting. We made this way better. This is a way better infomercial for them across the board. Now there's excitement about what these guys are doing. As before, it's just who gives a shit. It's another Ridge wallet,
Okay.
But now, not the case. So we did good.
Gotcha.
Just like in the old days, our previous previous startups. See, this is what we can. I don't know how the vibe is going to be with Mr. Moon. I think he'll be better, but I hope he doesn't try to get us back on track. That's the only thing I'm concerned about.
Do you think we would have? Oh, because he'd be part of these.
He'd be trying to be nice and PC, and me over here is asking about dog warts and shit like that. Yeah, that's the. We should have done it. I was thinking about it, but it's too much for an outsider. There's no way we could have done it.
God damn.
But
you pussied out of our first podcast idea. Why? Fucking loser.
Sorry. That's how that's a real top G company if they answer the dog warts question.
Yeah,
but
that's what you know. Especially if they just do it real quick. It's like, $50,000 every time.
Yeah, and $100,000 for dark dog warts.
Jesus,
yeah.
What is dark dog warts?
You don't, dude. I feel like you don't pay enough attention. Dark dog warts is where the dog doesn't consent anymore. It's a room inside of regular dog warts.
Jesus Christ. Dark dog warts. We should get some meta ethics people to start writing papers to get every question to reduce to the dog warts question.
They should, man. It makes all this stuff more fun. Yeah. So okay, D&D is starting in 15 minutes.
Nice.
Boy, I can't wait.
I'm sure you can't. Be careful, Armin's gonna ban you from chat if he's
No,
lurking.
I'm a tier 17 Patreon subscriber. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I don't have my icon by my name.
True.
Huge fan.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't care about this Alzheimer's thing, huh?
No, I think it's immensely. If it's true
Uh-huh.
that these people did this, I think that's maybe life sentence in jail.
On one end, like if it was a mistake, I think that's really sad. But it looks more and more like it was a fabrication, and I feel like that's actually like at the very least like a lifetime ban from research. Like you need to go and find a totally different job, if not like heavy jail time. That's pretty insane.
It's here's the other thing though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You place a lot of fault with this person, granted.
Yeah.
But
Assuming
also
they
I
actually
place-
doctored images, but yeah, go ahead.
Sure, but I also place a lot of fault on the institutions that didn't do a good peer review, that stifled other
Mm-hmm.
options that were coming in the future and didn't let those happen because they thought this was the only one. So I think that I don't want to say there's equal fault.
No,
but I say
there's
it's a bad
definitely a
system.
problem with the process, and we have all known about it. But on the larger internet, it gets fucked because people just ignorantly assume that the process is just fucked with like soft sciences. Like that, at 95% of the time, someone on like Reddit or Twitter, or especially in conservative circles, brings up the replication crisis. All of them think that only applies to like fucking psychology and anthropology. That's what they all think it applies to. They don't realize that it hits the hard sciences just as hard. It's a huge issue, but yeah, it's kind of endemic. It's just an issue. Like, do you really want to publish like contraindicatory or like counterindicative studies? Like things that show that you can't replicate. It's just not sexy. Like nobody cares about that research, which is an
I thought there was also
problem.
like a some sort of collusion among people to not let that research get published as well.
No, I don't. This is the issue. Oh, fuck. There was a Scott Alexander blog that we read. I wish you had it in your brain right now. But basically, the issue is like, you don't need a conspiracy to explain what's happened. Everybody's just kind of incentivized to keep going along with the story. So one, you've gotten somebody that's given you a really sexy explanation for what's happening with Alzheimer's. It seems like they've got some decent experiments. Now, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy that builds on that and figures out the fucking cure for Alzheimer's? Or do you want to be some fucking loser in your lab that's trying to run tests verifying research that like hundreds of other researchers are now working off of? Like most of the time, you're probably just wasting your time, right? Like, and then when you start, and then even if you do find something that you can't replicate, well, was that your experimental error? Nobody's going to publish the study. Nobody's going to fund your study. Hey, can I get funding to go back to a 2006 study that the FDA's already approved drugs based on to see if it works or not? That's like a huge endemic problem. There's just no money there. There's no interest there. Like yeah, go ahead.
Shouldn't the free market actually have solved this a little bit? Because I know there was public pharmaceutical companies that made Alzheimer's drugs, and I feel like if you were kind of a Melvin Capital or Citadel or something like that, that wants to do shorts.
This is well, first of all, the scientists that did see this did short it before they went to the FDA, which is interesting ethically. But this is an issue that you bring up to people where you have to enter the real world. So conspiratorially thinking, I think you know this, and I think we've talked about this before. When people say things like the government is 20 years ahead on like technology for like communications and shit, you know that's not true, because the government isn't doing more research than every other fucking multi-trillions of market capitalization tech companies in the world. They don't have the resources for it, you know? The only place the government can ever be ahead is like where they spend money on, which might maybe some military tech or military
it's security and
applications.
military, and probably like offensive
possibly.
technological
And
stuff.
even that's going to be limited, right? Because when we talk about like military, or I'm sorry, when we talk about security, there's going to be some forms of technological security that they're not ahead on because other companies in the private sector are working on it, not being paid by the government.
Well, one thing to note there as well, though, I mean, we don't want to go too deep into this, but with that stuff, the U.S. government, if it does find a private company working on some like high-end crazy shit, the U.S. government does and frequently does do this, is come in and basically say, this is ours now.
Yeah, they'll
Literally.
gag them or pay for it if it's like a national security, maybe, yeah.
And you can't do it anymore. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there might be some stuff like that. But when it comes to pharmaceutical stuff, people are going to assume that like, oh, well, you know, like the free market, like a pharmaceutical company, if they're funding that research, they know that it's fucked. No, they probably don't actually. Like pharmaceutical companies don't do that type of like, they don't specialize in that type of generalized research. I wouldn't expect any of them to know. If anything, they would have never funded any of these drugs because it's so fucking expensive to bring these drugs to market. There's no way they knew that it was based on faulty research. And they don't have the resources to be spending money verifying the fundamental basic research that goes into every drug they go to fund. That's not what pharmaceuticals are for. They're supposed to build off of the general research that's done and not assume that the general research is poisoned. But that's been one of the issues is we've known, quote unquote known, that these amyloid beta plaques for so long have been involved with Alzheimer's disease. But even though we keep trying new drugs, it seems like these new drugs just never help. There's trial after trial after trial, and Alzheimer's disease patients aren't getting any better. And now it's starting to look like this might be the reason why.
I think one of the best things the U.S. government could do would be to expand the same system they have with SEC whistleblowers to other industries, because that to me seems like a fucking massive win-win for everyone involved, and it actually should curb this type of behavior, especially in the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, that's kind of what's going on here. So I think the three guys have brought this like shorted the fuck out of it, and they're going through the legal system to do it because I think the Schrag guy, wasn't he like an expert witness, or lawyers paid this guy to do research before they brought this case? So I mean, like these guys are going to get rewarded if they're right, but doctors have egos.
I like the idea of the government. It's simpler, right? If the government just says, hey, we find this company 100 million, you reported it, you're getting 20% of that. I think that's a better system than having to like figure out how to short the stock and borrow the money to short it and everything else. That's like,
maybe creating some financial incentive there would be good. Yeah, but
because we want like the secretary who's a fucking idiot at like, you know, pharma company X to know that if she sees some fucked up shit, she can report that and be a millionaire. Because honestly, in the United States, no one's that loyal to their fucking company.
This is why it was really ignorant during the GME saga and everything else. People always assume that short sellers are these evil people, but they're not. They're an incredibly important part of the market. You want to have people that are checking to see if companies are acting fucky or fucking around to kind of punish them financially for it, punish the company and then reward the people financially for making those discoveries. Like short selling is a very important part of keeping a check on stock that's too bullish. Yeah.
You know what's interesting now? I don't know if you've kept up with the GME stuff, but apparently they did the split. Yeah. And to me, I wonder where these guys' heads are at right now, because it's so like I know all the hype was from this. This was the mother of all short squeezes.
They've had like three of them or five of them.
No, but this was the one. And now they're in a
one.
Weird spot where there is no other catalyst coming up.
I'm sure they've invented something else, dude. They do so much analysis on that stuff.
This is it. You had like the NFT thing and the split. Right now, there is no other catalyst to wait for. Now it's just sit and wait and keep buying more and DRSing and everything like that. Like, it's just so interesting that we're at this point here. I can't wait to see how this all goes down. The thing that's most unique about it, though, is their belief that this quote-unquote corrupt system that is fucking them every step of the way, they think that somehow they're going to win and the corrupt system is not going to just like stop whatever. Like, there's no way one share of fucking GME is going to be
$100,000.
Yeah, it's just not. Like, it will never happen that way. Even if the fucking mother of all short squeezes did happen, guess what? The fucking stock exchange is just going to fucking put a bell on it at, you know, when it hits 500. And that's the end. And that's the end of your fucking show, and then you'll bitch and moan and cry, and we'll be here for years, just like we were with the fucking bankers that never went to jail during the 2007 collapse. Nothing's going to happen, because it's not like you're going to court and you're arguing a technicality. You just lose.
Yeah. But, I mean, those guys are just bag holding infinitely. What are you going to do? Or fuck.
Imagine how lucky you must be, though, to be the CEO of fucking GameStop.
Dude, and your fucking stock turns into an internet meme and you fucking probably cashed out and be fucking huge, yeah.
It's so sick that this happened.
Disgusting. Like every other company is probably trying to be the next fucking meme stock.
They are,
or some
right?
Shit,
it's them and AMC.
And then you go and AstroTurf. AMC never, I don't think anything ever blew up to the insane extent like GME did. Like that GME stock is still probably unbelievably fucking overvalued.
Are you kidding me? When's the last time anyone ever went to a GameStop?
Yeah, it's still like 10x what it probably should be, at least, if not more, which is insane. Not like a hypothetical like 10x, like it's really 2 or 3x. It's like actually like 10x still overvalued. It's insane.
It's like I don't even understand how this company stays in business. Like the only suggestion that makes sense is that they actually sell their stock to pay their bills because they lose money constantly. Like who believes in this company and why this company of all companies? It's just so strange. I feel like I must not understand something. Yeah, just that's it.
Yeah, well.